Hey, Cleaning Nation, Mike Campion here with the amazing Suzanne Bandick. Today, we're going to talk about how our beliefs sabotage us and the 5 steps to end that sabotage. And for those of you that are like, that sounds fluffy, just tell me how to market. The team and I lately have been having conversations around the kind of two pieces to people really getting results in business. And certainly the first is information. What I'm doing now is not working and I need to do different things. And if I do different things, I will get different results. 100% true. And if that's all it was, as much as I love Suzanne, we would need her, right? Well, we need her for other things, but certainly not this. But the reality is there's a lot more fat people that know everything about nutrition than there are and just aren't able to do the things that they need to do than there are people that are like, I didn't know, Cheese Whiz was not healthy for me. And and if you're one of those Cheese Whiz folks, God bless you. Let's get you a book or some internet access. So the same thing in business. I think, some of it's I don't know what to do and I don't know where to go. But certainly when you're getting coaching or you do know what to do and where to go, the result in your business or your life is exactly the same as if you don't know what to do or if you know what to do and you don't do it. So I really see our community as a whole undervaluing the gap between knowledge and action. And I know that beliefs both ways. They're not only what sabotages you when you have a different belief, they will propel you. So for those of you who are like, I just want another thing on marketing or on something like that, I can assure you, having even done marketing, which is a pretty tactical thing, much of the reason people stop winning or don't win at marketing is their belief sabotage them. So I want to, even though marketing is marketing, this belief sabotaging you really touches pretty much every aspect of business. So whether it's hiring, marketing, money, whatever it is, if your beliefs are sabotaging you, there's you can listen to all the podcasts in the world on what to do and how to do it. But if your beliefs are going to sabotage you, we might as well call it a day. So without further ado, the lovely Suzanne.
Thank you, Mike. That was a beautiful intro for what I would like to cover today.
About half
I
I'll get. So every now and again, I'll get one that matches. Half the time, you're like, that was great, Mike. Completely off of what we were hoping to talk about. So it's nice every now and again we sync up.
It was bang on. So, if we're going to talk about beliefs that can sabotage us, I thought let's start with 3 different categories today. There's a multitude, but let's look at one. Too busy or haven't got time. How many times have we heard that from other people or ourselves?
Mhm.
A second category, and these actually all fit together. I'm not good enough. I'm not
Mhm.
smart enough, or I'm not a good business person.
Mhm.
And a third category, I can't ask for more money. All my clients will leave.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I would also put in that category, I can't ask for money up front or to get paid in advance. I can't tell my clients someone else is going to be cleaning for them. I guess any sort of I can't run my business in a more effective way. Fill in the blank, however you like, my clients will leave.
So, yesterday, as I was preparing for this topic, something struck me and I wrote it down. So, I'm going to read it out because I think it's really important. So, this is what I wrote. What if the only reason it appears true for us is because we believe it? I don't have enough time. I believe
Mm,
that, so it comes up as true. I'm not good enough or smart enough. I believe that, so it comes up as true. So, again, what if the only reason it appears true for me is because I believe it? Now, let's look at the second part of that. What if you could change the belief? Does that mean your reality becomes different?
Let me play a small devil's advocate because I know there's a percentage of the people out there fighting back, and I just want to speak to what they say so they don't get stuck and can't come with us on this journey. Two things can be true at once. It can
Okay.
be true that you don't know everything you need to know about business. I know it's true for me. I know it's true for Suzanne. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's true for everyone within the sound of our voice. That can be true. But I'm not good enough or smart enough or not a good business person. That's so very good enough for what? like to build $1 million business or smart enough or good enough business person. Well, I think bald faced lies are pretty easy to find and dismiss sometimes, but the ones that have a kernel of truth in them, we allow to warp into something that's not true. So it could be true. I'm going to have to learn and grow to become a better business owner. Would be a different way to say, I'm not a good business person, which sounds very final, like it's just who I am. Like I am 6 feet tall. It's not a lot. That's kind of a true. I guess I could stretch myself or cut something off, but for all intents and purposes, that's just going to be the truth. And the statement of I'm not a good business person puts that into the category of I'm 6 feet tall, I'm whatever, some sort of piece about me that's not going to change. And it can be true that I'm not a good business person, but that kind of has built in, and I'll never be a business person. It was something at birth. Whereas a different way to think of it is I'm not a good business person, right? Or I don't have the business skills that I want. And I may or may not have the business skills to get to $1 million, but I, by golly, can. So I just wanted to stand out for people like, but there's things, Suzanne, you don't understand. They're just the truth. And it's like, be that as it may. There are some pretty dumb people that are very, very wealthy, and there's some flaming geniuses that can't tie their own shoes.
Mike, have you been peeking at my 5 steps to stop the
I
sabotage?
always step on your stuff.
That's okay. That's perfect. See, everybody, we get a preview. See, Mike's so intelligent. He is already thinking of that. True. Absolutely. So here, I'm not talking about things that are absolute. Your height is your height. Okay. The sky is blue. We're not going to get into that, all the reasons it appears blue, but the color comes out as blue. Okay. There are certain things that are definitely true. However, the encouragement is there are a multitude of things in our life, in our beliefs that are not necessarily true.
The vast
And
majority, overwhelmingly
just
majority.
just because what I really want to point out is just because we think it's true, we think about it a lot, and we make it a belief doesn't mean it's really true. And those are the things, if you've got beliefs that serve you, for instance, one of the beliefs that I have is I meet the nicest people always.
Mm.
And yeah, is that going to be true for everybody? Is that like, right? It's a belief that serves me because you know what? At the end of the day, I've met the nicest people and they're so kind to me.
Yeah.
So, did I create it? Yes. Does it serve me? Yes. But you know what? There are a multitude of beliefs that I create that don't necessarily serve me. And
Without
I
getting,
continue to work on that.
so sorry, I didn't mean to speak over you.
Mhm.
Without getting all the way down the rabbit hole into the whole Schrodinger's cat dilemma, I was just reading the Bible this morning, and there's a very clear picture in the Old Testament about a guy named Joseph, whose brothers sold him into slavery, and they went back to their father, and they were jealous of them, so they sold him into slavery. And they went back to their father with his coat that was torn and had blood on it, and they led him to believe that he'd been devoured by animals, and his whole life wasn't the truth. There was nothing true about that. But because he believed it, his whole life was set on a trajectory that was not true. So just like we talk about, if you know what to do in business, but you don't do it, you might as well as not know it. With this, because his belief that his son was dead, he had the exact same relationship as if he were truly dead. So your beliefs can just really do manage everything for better or for worse. And just for anyone that wants to know how the story turned out, he actually became second in charge of Egypt in a famine. The dad saw him and his belief changed. And he said, now I can die. So happy story for everyone's worried about Joseph and his father. But just that 20 years or 30 years of him believing his son was dead, even though his son was not dead, for all intents and purposes, they were dead to one another because of that belief. Had he just known the truth, he could have immediately gone and found him. But that belief really changed everything.
Right. Wow. So that's exactly it. Again, I'm going to go back to the beliefs that we have. Now we can say it's outside of us, right? My business is bad. It's not doing well because it's the economy.
Mhm.
because it's the government. It's easy for us to say it's something or someone else. And what that does is it means we don't really have to do anything. We don't really have to
Right.
change. The flip side of that is it means we feel like we're powerless. We don't have
Mhm.
control. So, what if we can take that power back
Mhm.
by simply saying that second phrase, what if I change the belief and it changes reality for me? That we have control over.
I have said for years, and this is so timely, Suzanne, as an entrepreneur, I truly believe one of my main jobs is to take the vision that I see in my head and bend reality to that vision. And that's why, and really, Hitler saw a different vision and he bent reality to that. So his belief, I mean, beliefs, good or bad, right? And I'm not the opposite of Hitler by any means, but as entrepreneurs, that really is it. We've got this picture of our head of what the world should and could be like. And that's really it, just to bend our and reality will bend. Either just like Suzanne said, either our beliefs are going to bend to it. I'd love to change the world, but nobody wants to work. The government taxes too much. People are lazy. And all these things may be true, right? I think of my virtual mentor, Elon Musk, who I do not know, starting a gosh darn car company. Like if you think you're pick one thing about the taxes, like and sending rockets to space, you want to find something hard. And I've heard interviews where it's like building a car was easy, getting the government's permission. Holy, that's a whole different kettle of fish. So you think you're regular, trying to build a rocket or a car. Sorry, didn't mean to take us off track, Suzanne. Mike Campion here. Do you ever listen to the podcast and go, this is great information. I just wish I could actually get it implemented and I wish I could get some help? Well, we do that. If you would like either myself or my team's help actually coming up with a plan that's specialized to you and your business, because with these podcasts, obviously we have to be very general and we can only go 20 minutes at a time. If you'd like to jump on a call with myself or my team, go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. We'll jump on a call. There's no charge. And we'll help you get some absolute clarity around exactly what to do next and how to do it. The reason we don't charge for these calls is the plan that we come up with, people want help implementing that. If that's the case, we're happy to talk about it. And if it's not, that's okay too. We're happy to just help you come up with a plan. So if you want to translate the information you're learning here into an actual plan that can change your life, give us a ring, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. Love to either myself or have one of our coaches walk you through and actually personalize the content you get here to where you're at with your business. Talk soon.
That's perfect. So let's talk about 5 steps to change a belief that we think that may not serve me. And what I'd like to do is just state them all, and then I go back and we'll flesh them out and we'll talk a little bit about it. But that way, if anybody's taking notes, you have an opportunity to write them all out in one succinct step. Okay, so if we want to change a belief, 5 steps. Number 1, recognize your beliefs in the statements you make. Okay, and I got to quickly say something about this. Quite often, we'll just, without thinking about it, because it's habit, I don't have the time for that. I
Mhm.
don't do it that way. I don't, right? We just, I wish I had more time. Can you catch yourself saying some of these things and going, whoa, wait a minute. Does this serve me? Could I change it? So, 1, recognize the beliefs in the statements you make. Number 2, ask if you want it to be true.
That's a powerful one.
Okay. 3, decide to change it. We have a lot more in our control than we think we do. If you find a belief that doesn't serve you, you have to make the decision that you want to change it.
Only if you want different results.
Number 4 is taking the steps to change it. So I'm going to give you some examples here. How could I, if you say, I'm always so busy, I don't have enough time, and you say, I want to change that belief. Some really quick off the top examples is you say, how could I be less busy? Could I delegate things? Could I stop doing things that I don't really need to do? Could I ask for help? Could I reorganize my day? Maybe get up a little earlier, right? So I'm not saying I have the answer. I'm just saying the question is, could I be less busy? Now, on the second one that we brought up, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not a good business person. I'm going to suggest that you find the times that you were good enough, that you were pleased with your results, that you succeeded. And that's part of, are you going to look at the gap or the gain? The gain, please focus on the gain. Because if you can find the times that, hey, I'm good at this, I may feel like I'm not good at math, but I'm darn good at my people skills, right? Find the things that you excel at that make you feel good and start to list those and start to focus on those. And it will start to change your beliefs. It will start to change your reality. And that third category was, if I ask clients to pay at the beginning of the month, if I ask clients for more money, they're all going to leave. Oh, and our mind goes wild on that. I'm going to be destitute. I'm going to be homeless. I'm not going to have a business. I'm going to lose everything, right? We always go to the fear and the loss. However, what if you say, you know what? There are companies that are charging more. They've still got their clients. They're making money. They're doing well. What if I research? Right? Like you and I, Mike, we can tell people that's kind of a fallacy because we have people every day that are charging at the beginning of the month, that are charging more money, and they're keeping their clients, they're keeping their business, and they're doing better. So we could be stuck in the belief, no, I can't, thinking that's our reality. However, what I'm going to suggest in an instance like that is you do some more research. What if? What if it was possible?
Intentional research, because we can
Right.
find data to back so many things. So I think our first research, I'm doing the air quotes, is just looking for people that will. That's why who you spend time with is a bunch, right? If I've got friends that are always going to tell me when I say people are lazy, business is hard, employees are the worst, there's a certain subset of people, quote unquote, research that'll go, oh my gosh, it's the truth, blah, 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 blah. And if I hang with them, it's just like crabs pulling each other down when one tries to get out of the bucket. If I find people that are a little more intentional, like I would be embarrassed saying something like that to Suzanne. Literally embarrassed. Not that she'd be rude to me, but I just know she wouldn't even countenance it. She would ask a bunch of questions to expose what a ridiculous belief that was. So research is intentional because we do a lot of research, and research can just be talking to other humans. And if we're talking to the wrong humans and asking the wrong questions and allowing that nonsense to get in, it's going to get in whether we want it or not.
Great point, Mike, because it's an awareness of what we're thinking. So we all know that we can think a certain thing and we can start researching and only read the articles that reinforce our belief, right? So that comes back to, is this a belief I want to keep or I want to change? If you want to change it, I'm going to say you be open to a different idea and you intentionally research, just like you said, on the new idea.
And I love what you said. I thought it was number two. I made a note of
Okay.
what benefits do I get from this belief? Like why I love that because a lot of times I always skip over that step and I'm just like, well, I'm not getting this, and here's the belief, and I just try to bully myself into changing beliefs. But we're not insane, right? When we say people are lazy, my clients won't tolerate a price raise, my clients won't tolerate anyone cleaning but me. I'm not insane, right? There's got to be a reason that benefits. And the benefit, if you really ask that question, it's very obvious. Well, if people are just going to quit, maybe that gives me an excuse not to do the hard thing. And I love getting it out there so we can go, and that's your right. You can go, you just get to pick. Yeah, having that conversation with the client is more difficult than not making any money or than having to clean myself or whatever the outcome is. And you're an adult. That's a beautiful thing. You can be like, that's not what I'm ready to do. But what I don't like is when it's under the covers in the dark and you don't really ask the question, what belief is it? And it's just hiding there for you. And then you just feel like I can't move it. I don't know why. And that feeling is gross. But when you pull it out in the light, go, here's the benefit. I can give myself an excuse not to try. And if I don't try, I won't be let down by failing again. Okay, well, that doesn't feel so good, but at least I know it. It's not hiding under there. Then I can go, well, the other thing is I'm broke and I don't like the way my life is going. And then we can kind of hold them up and make a good decision. But when it's just this gross, dark fear that we haven't examined and brought out to the light, it's really hard to make a decision and it just makes us feel great. It can be paralyzing.
I say repeatedly, if you don't recognize what your belief is that's controlling you. It's like an invisible computer virus. And you want to press F on your keyboard and it comes up P, and you don't know why. So life isn't progressing the way you want it. You're not succeeding the way you want it to. And that's where I encourage myself and all of us to continually be saying, how can I change this? What is my belief in this moment? And if we don't like the belief, let's focus on changing it.
And let me give you a meta belief that I think can help. And then, yeah. And then if you would, Suzanne, I'm going to have, if you don't mind, I'll have you read the five again, just because I heard four and I didn't get number five. I want to make sure everyone got
Uh-huh.
it. The meta belief that I love is I can experience life the way that I want right now. So if the belief is, and I've had this belief, and I give this example, there's people in our program that are just starting and they're like, man, if I get to $10,000 a month in revenue, that'll be amazing. And we've got people in our program at $10,000 a month and they're all wildly happy. Nope. They're like, once I get to 30 grand a month, then I'll be happy. And of course, the 30 are wildly happy. Nope. They're thinking once I get to 50, and 50 is usually then it's a million. And looking back, I mean, it might have taken me 10 years to hit my first $1 million business. I just had that build. I never even pulled it out like Suzanne's talked, like we talked about, and looked at it. I just said, it's just a given. Like then I'll have a real business. I'll be important. Obviously, I'll be rich. And if I'm rich, I just had all these kind of obviously beliefs that I don't know where they came from. I just assumed $1 million business, like I'll just be in heaven. That'll just be great. And none of that was the truth. I think that's why rock stars have such a high drug overdose. They've got problems like the rest of us, and they think if I ever get famous, when I ever get famous, then I'll be happy. And then they get famous, they're like, gosh darn it, most of the things that made me unhappy are right here, right now. And a lot of the things that made me happy then still make me happy now. And so looking back, if I could tell young Mike, who just work so hard and stressed out so much, like it's going to be fine. The thing that you think you're worried about now, you're not even going to remember in 6 months, definitely not 6 years. There'll be a couple, but marriage, children, like very little that had to do with business and generally overall making money. Sure. But gosh, in business, I strike out a lot more than I hit runs. Luckily, the home runs are worth so much you can make it work, but it's a lot of failure. So just choosing, like, do I have to wait? That's a belief. Do I have to, will I really be happy at $1 million? Or do I just think I'll feel a certain way at $1 million? Is there a possibility I could choose to feel that way now? Are there people that are looking at me going, oh my gosh, if I had that life, I'd be happy right now? So anyway, that's my meta thing. If you would just hit those five again, Suzanne, I would love just to make sure everyone gets them because they're so powerful, and we'll wrap.
Beautiful, Mike. Thanks. Okay, so how to change the belief? One, recognize your belief in the statements you make. Two, ask if you want it to be true.
Mm.
Three, decide to change it because we have a lot more control than we think we do.
Mm.
Four, take the steps to change it. And five, start adopting the new belief. And that's where you have to be a little bit vigilant at the beginning because the old belief is going to continue to creep in and you'll hear it in your words. And my suggestion is correct yourself. When you hear yourself say it, say, oh, sorry, I meant to say this.
Such a great example.
And the bottom line, my tagline, it's not about working harder. It's about thinking differently.
That's so true. So gosh darn true. Well, thank you, Suzanne. And I just want to encourage everybody out there, truly, this is the foundation because you could make $1 million business and be miserable. And you could never hit $1 million business and be wildly happy. And how you experience your life, like it's just so weird that we give ourselves permission. Once I get this house, once I get this car, once I have a kid, once I get married, God forbid, once I get divorced, once, this thing happens that I have influence over, but no, then I'll give myself permission to be happy. And if we look back, it's like, and I've had cars and things, and I will say I've absolute, bring me happiness for a day or a week or a minute, whatever the case is. Even marriage has brought me a tremendous amount of joy. But boy, it's a lot of work too, right? there's things about being single that are great. So just the beliefs are everything. And certainly what you're going to get is foundationally what you believe and how you're going to experience that, which I think is really what we want. We don't want $1 million. We want to feel the way that we think we're going to feel when we have $1 million. So to get the $1 million is absolutely relying on our belief and how we feel, which is what we really want, is relying on our belief. And the beautiful thing is we could choose to feel that way right now. So that said, Clean Nation, hopefully that was super valuable. Get out there again, change your beliefs. Don't go, that was so good, and then just skip to the next podcast and do nothing. Right now, hit stop, go through those 5 steps, pick something, anything in your life that you feel isn't at the level that you want, go through those 5 steps, shoot us an email, Mike or Suzanne at growmycleaningcompany.com. Let us know you did it and how it went. We'll talk to you soon. Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it. And we sure appreciate your time and attention.